Welcome to another episode of Josh and Kelly.
Hi there.
We are still in cold Delaware. Matter of fact, they're predicting snow and potential freezing rain with it, as well as regular rain today. So miserable. It's not fun. Not fun being here.
So we've made the executive decision. We are going to schedule, even we have to push our appointments out. I'm going to make a whole list, figure out what I had when, and then make everything like in the same month, like maybe October. So that would be a good time to come back here instead of. I mean, it's unusually cold, and I mean the mounds of snow you see from the last video, or even our thumbnail, it's just incredible. So we haven't had this kind of winter for a while, but we just want to try to avoid the winter because it's going to be much easier to just manage everything.
It is, because among other things, something I've had to remind myself and Kelly of multiple times since we've been back is that this truck is not built for an East Coast urban winter, because there's just not the space. We need to live out of this, not in it. And if you're in a winter environment like this, you have to live in, because you can't be out. When we go for walks with Soph, and then that's it. Like, you can't live out of it. And that's the issue, because we need to live out of this. That's the whole idea of why we built it. It's the whole idea of how it's designed, is to live out of it.
And honestly, that's the only living we've been doing since we've been in it. So we've had, multiple adjustments.
Frustrations.
Hardships, tears. Speaking for myself, that is. And then, and the next thing that we're going to do is redo the electrical. So that might keep us here a little bit longer. So we're going to...
I hope not. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But let's hope that can keep us here any longer. But
But, and we have some other ideas to, that we're going to do once we get the electrical and some other, some more storage things done. Then we're going to lower the whole bed in here, the whole seating area, not just where I work each day. So we have a plan in place to keep making improvements. But it's just, a little bit at a time. We're chopping away at it.
Yeah, indeed. But we've got something to show you.
Wait for it. So one of the adjustments or hardships that I've been experiencing is making my coffee in the morning.
Because coffee is such a hardship.
So as you know, we have one induction stove, and in the van and in here so far, what I've been doing is heating up a kettle on the pan, pouring it into a press type, French press type thermos. So, it's multiple steps reaching up, and we were always making the bed first, and then I would do it, and then I was like, well, maybe there's a way I could do my coffee first so I can just, slip out earlier and get my day going, because Josh has to pretty much get up when I do. And so anyway, the thing he came up with was an idea for a little coffee pot, and it's the cutest little thing ever, and it's made a big difference because I don't have to heat up, wait for it. Like, it's just, we set it all up the night before, and I just push that little button, it's plugged in, ready to go, and I can have my coffee before I get out, and I don't have to scrunch over, because usually in the morning the bed's made and there's limited space and options. And I've gone an entire week of drinking coffee with no milk, because the refrigerator isn't accessible when the bed is up. But then today I was able to move myself and just pull the corner of the top of the bed and get the refrigerator open enough and get the milk out. So I'm excited about that. But I have to show you this. It's so cute. Are you ready? It is so cute. Look at this thing. It's got the little tiny teep carafe. Opens up.
It's like 4 cups.
And then this little basket, you fill it out, we dump it out and rinse it, so we don't have to buy any kind of paper for there. And it's just one little push in the morning. I have it plugged up here. It's sitting up here on the counter waiting for me. Keep my mug, and then just four little cups. And when I do the 3 cups on here, it fits perfectly. And this is my carafe, but I took out the plunger stuff, and it fills it up. So I get all that from in here. It's the perfect amount, because I really don't need any more than that. So yeah, I was so excited about it. I was like, Josh, what a great idea. And it saves, probably about 10 minutes at least, if not more, in the morning. Because even once you heat it, then you have to wait 4 minutes for it to sit, and then plug, unplug, put stuff back. So yeah, this is literally like, I know, it's such a luxury, but I'm loving it.
All right, so we have kind of been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of strategizing, a lot of planning with a lot of things. The coffee maker was just one of them. But one of the things that we've come to realize is that our electrical setup is not working for us. When we originally did it, I called Jackery. We have Jackeries. We have those solar generators, and I called Jackery. And I said, listen, I need them to be able to charge and discharge at the same time. And they're like, yep, that's not a problem. Well, I didn't know. And the person who was the salesperson, Jackie, didn't realize either that when you're in a mobile environment like this, there's something called a floating ground, and it causes issues. So the Jackeries themselves have a floating ground, which means they're not actually physically grounded to anything. Because they're a self-contained unit. And that floating ground has been causing us issues. Let me show you what we've got. So we have here 3 Jackeries. This one is Kelly's work Jackery, dedicated just for her work stuff. So that's right there at the moment, only the Starlink plugged in. And normally her computer gets plugged in here too. And it's for her as a standalone because she needs to be able to work regardless of anything else that's going on. So we always make sure that this one is the first one that's charged when charging is needed, that it's charged, it's always full after she's done work. So that way we always have the ability to work for her because she can't be without work. So that one is for her. Down here, this is our utilities Jackery. So this is a 12 volt plug. And this is running the water pump, which is down here. Okay, so that's the water pump down there. This is what runs that. This plug here on the AC side of it is for the heater, which obviously in winter we need. So this is what we call the utility side of it. This plug is for the hot water, which can get plugged into the AC side of it as well. And then this Jackery over here, which we call the house Jackery. So this runs our electrical outlet, which is here up by the sink, which Kelly had her coffee maker plugged into this morning. And then this one goes to a multi-plug behind there, which the lights and the fridge are plugged into, and there's a spare one. We don't really use the spare one, but those two things are plugged in there that require power. And then this 12 volt here runs the fan, the exhaust fan that's up here in the roof. And certainly in warmer climates we'll be using that. We haven't used it that much. We used it a little bit when we were in Florida, but we haven't used it that much because it's just been too warm. We don't need it. But that is run off of the DC side of this one here. And the idea originally was that this one, so these orange plugs here are all the power cords for the Jackeries. So this one here is actually plugged into the truck. So the truck has its own inverter, and it runs 2,000 watts through a plug that's actually in the back that gets run, and it's plugged directly into this Jackery. So this Jackery is charging when the truck is running in its alternator. It runs as a generator through the alternator, then charges or gets converted through the inverter through to AC power, and that's plugged directly into here. Now this one is supposed to be this plugged in because this charges the utilities one. And then this one here is supposed to be plugged in here, and that's supposed to charge Kelly's one. And they were supposed to charge as a through charge and have them always be charging, so that Kelly's was literally always at 100%, the utilities one was always at 100%, and then the house one was be the one that would be charged on when the truck was running. But otherwise everything should be always fully charged. And that can't happen. So this floating ground fault is not allowing them to be charged simultaneously. So what I have to do is, when Kelly's done the work every day, I then have to make sure this Jackery has enough power. I then plug in her Jackery, and this one charges this one. When that is done, which takes an hour to an hour and a half, When that is done, I then have to plug this one into here so that this one will charge this one, and then that takes another hour to an hour and a half. When that's done, I then have to start the truck and charge this one. So instead of it happening simultaneously in doing one charge at the end of the day for maybe an hour, hour and a half to charge this one, I then have to wait almost 3 hours to charge this one with the truck. And it's a cascading thing. And it's a lot of manual plugging, unplugging, checking the percentages and how much of a charge is holding. And it's a pain. It's a real pain, and it's just not working for us. So after many calls and 3 weeks worth of calls to Jackery about why this wasn't working, we eventually got to a technician who knew enough about these to be able to say, oh, that's your floating ground fault. He goes, that's going to be the case. You're not going to be able to do that. And they then refused to give us a refund on these. I realize it's outside the normal refund time, and that's just the way it is. So that's fine. So if anybody wants a couple of Jackeries, we're going to sell these. But what we're going to do is we're going to replace them with a system that's much more similar to what we had in the van. But unlike the van where we had 6 100 amp hour batteries, we're buying one 660 amp hour batteries. We're actually going to have more power than the van did by a little bit. And it's going to be one battery instead of having to string together a whole bunch of them. And then we're going to charge that. We'll have our own inverter off of that. And it's going to be in that sense, a much simpler way of doing things. And then all we have to do at the end of the day is plug in one Jackery to charge it, and we're done. And then whenever the truck is running, that main battery bank will be charging. So that's the idea. I'll probably do a whole video on my change out of that so you can see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and where it fits into all of this, because I have to find places for the inverter. I have to find places for the battery charger. I have to find places for the battery itself. I have to find places for the 12 volt bus bars, all of that. I've got it all here, but I have to implement it. So I'll probably do a whole video showing you all that and run you through that as I do that changeover. But that's been a big thing, and that's been a big decision to come to, because since we haven't been able to get a refund on these, it's out of pocket, at least initially, especially. It's out of pocket, all of this upgrade, and that's just difficult to do. But we're going to do it because it's going to hopefully very much simplify things and make our lives a whole lot easier. Because at the moment, Kelly's here working on it today. I'm like, hold on a second, I just got to check something. And I'm charging batteries, and I'm doing one Jackery to the next, and it is a very manual process, and we're going to try and get around that. So that's another big change, and we have another big one coming. But I'm going to let Kelly describe that one to you.
Okay, so I've had a few pain points, and this is one of the many pain points that I've had. It's been my comfort sleeping. So when we first,
or lack thereof.
So when we first started out, I had like this pad for like you would do for backpacking, just that thin. And then we eventually got a thicker pad from like Walmart on our trip to Florida, which was like a folding pad that you would see like at a gym, for doing exercising on. And it was better, but still like a lot of hip pain and just discomfort. And so then we tried a product which was a foam pad, which you can see here. It's 2 inches, but we weren't sure of the density. So I tried it out, and it's okay, but it's still, not great. So what we went with is we went to a local store that sells foam and does a lot of work with cushions, and sat on a extra dense 2-inch memory foam, and it's miles above any of the items that we're using currently. And then we ordered from them the padding, and then we separately ordered online through Amazon coverings for them, because everything, like, it's going to be 4 pieces custom made, because the wood pieces are different. So that should be coming soon, and that'll be another upgrade where we have a little more cushion to sleep on, a little more comfortableness with all that. And yeah, so that's pretty exciting news. It's not going to make my space any larger, but the comfort of lying down and being in bed will be much better.
Show them the width of our bed when it's up. I know we've shown that before when it's up, but
So this is the bracket, where the wood comes in.
it sits on there. So it's the edge of this counter.
And I'm over here. This is where I sleep. So sometimes my head is up further up here, but sometimes it's low. Like that's why we took all the curtains down and kind of got rid of that, and then over to the window. So that's all we have. And Josh sleeps there. He's offered to switch with me because I'm like, I always feel like I'm hitting the Jackeries, and this one will be here even with the upgrade. But I'd like to bend my legs sometimes. So, and then of course Sophie, she loves to be between us, and that kind of cramps it. But we wouldn't have it any other way without her in here.
So the reality is, where you are now, you come to here.
Yeah.
Sophie then takes up to about here, and then where that bag is where I sleep. It's a 12-inch shelf there, and I am pretty much on that shelf for my night. Sophie has the queen's commanding position there.
She does, and we each have our sleeping bags, so they get rolled up every day, and that's interesting too in itself, because you lay in it, and then when you turn in bed, sometimes it'll slide underneath you, so you have to adjust that, and then it'll unzip her, and then she sometimes wants to get in my sleeping bag, or she'll just plop herself down on my sleeping bag. So often I can't even cover myself up, which then I steal her blanket so I can cover myself up. But that's been the sleeping arrangements. But otherwise, these are very comfortable. They're lined with a flannel, and they're very, very soft cotton. And of course, I don't mind. I'd rather be warm than cold. So these work out well for that. And there's no real bed to make up like we had before as far as bedding, but definitely a bed to make up as far as the physical aspect of the bed. So, yeah.
And just as an aside, even though Kelly gets hot, I get hot. Last night, even though it's still cold, below freezing, I had the window open for half the night just to keep it cool enough to sleep. Because, I get a little bit warmer than she does, especially when I'm in the sleeping bag.
And it can get a little stuffy with the heater going.
Yeah.
And there's a vent on this side underneath here, which we try to cover when I'm working, which brings in cool air. So he always, is on that side too. So he has a little more air circulating near him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's all we got for you this week. Just this kind of a little taste of what it's really like to live in the truck. And it has its trying times. It has its benefits too. And we're looking forward to more benefits. Yes. She's so cheeky. Good thing she's cute. All right. Well, thanks for watching. And we'll see you out there next time.
See you out there.